There's this website called thepoliticalcompass.org, and basically it's designed to help people find out where they stand on the political spectrum. So I thought it would be interesting to see where I stand. And you have to answer these questions to find out. And before I start, I just want to say that these are entirely my opinions. And they might not be your opinion, so please don't worry about that. So yeah. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests. Strongly agree there. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. Strongly disagree. No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Strongly agree. I just can't stand patriotism. I just think patriotism is obnoxious, really. Don't get me wrong, I mean, everyone feels naturally loving towards the place they're born in, but that's not the same as being patriotic, is it? Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. I disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now, that's an interesting one. I'm tempted to say that I agree, but when I think about it, I think I disagree because it's like, now, sometimes there's times in my life when I've had an enemy, and then I look at their enemy, and their enemy happens to be an asshole just like them. Basically, just happens to be an asshole just like them. But other times, there are other times when, and most of the time, to be perfectly honest, most of the time, what happens is that the enemy of your enemy is your friend most of the time, you know. But I'm going to say agree, not strongly agree, because there's some occasions where that's not true, but generally yes, I agree. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I just screenshot for Instagram, so I'm sorry about that. Because I've got an Instagram and I post things on there, so yeah. Military action, yeah, defies international law is sometimes justified. Strongly disagree. In my experience, there's very few situations where that's okay. Just doing things that violate human rights is not a good idea. Sometimes justified. You know, I'm actually going to put disagree. And not strongly disagree. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one, actually. In fact, I'm even tempted to put agree, but I won't. I think I'll put disagree. Because, I mean, international law, at the same time, it's like international law is a big word, and you know what, I'm gonna put agree. I know that's a big jump from strongly disagree, but when I think about it, I realize that I kind of agree sometimes. I don't know, I'm very I'm very torn between disagree and agree. I'm gonna put disagree. I'm sorry. It's so hard because it's like a 50-50 thing for me. Anyway, there's now a worrying fusion of information. Strongly agree. Next page. Page 2. Divided. Okay, I'm just gonna speed through these, so I'm sorry about this, okay? And strong inflation is more controlling unemployment. Um, yeah, I'm going to put agree because they do need some degree of governing regarding the environment. From each according to his ability to each according to his need is fundamentally a good idea. Strongly agree. It's a sad reflection on society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. That is a tough one, my friends. That's a very tough one because water, obviously, we need water to survive. We need to drink water to survive. But then again, if you look at food, food is a consumer product also. And food has been a consumer product for as early as you can possibly remember. You don't get food for free or water for free. Food and water are like similar, aren't they? They've always been consumer products. And obviously, it doesn't mean that just because they've always been a certain way, it doesn't mean that that's the right thing. But at the same time, I'm just gonna say agree. But yeah, land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Strongly disagree. Land is a commodity, really, isn't it? Because why is it a commodity? Because it's like if I say no, I mean if I press agree, that means my house. I couldn't even buy my house because my house is my land. I'm not a communist, so there you go. That many personal fortunes made by people who manipulate money and contribute nothing. Strongly agree. Yep. Protectionism. In fact, I'm going to disagree. Social responsibility. Strongly disagree. Richard to strongly disagree. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards. Strongly agree. Because the reason I agree with that is because I believe that everyone deserves a certain level of healthcare for free because it's a human right. But at the same time, if you want a better quality of healthcare, you can't have that for free. You do have to pay extra for it. So why shouldn't we be able to? Just because you have something rubbish doesn't mean I also have to have something rubbish, if you know what I mean. So yeah, government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Disagree. Because I don't know. I don't like the government interfering in these kind of matters because it's up to the public to decide what misleads us, doesn't it? Not the government. I don't know. And I don't know. But at the same time, some of them are problematic. So yeah. A genuine free market requires restriction. Strongly disagree. Free the market, free the people. Agree. Next page. Oh, now we're getting interesting. This is deep stuff, isn't it? Abortion when the woman's life is not threatened should always be illegal. I strongly disagree with that. Because it's not just a question of consent. There's also other situations like sometimes a baby is born really like with no eyes or no face and with a lot of distortions, and in those situations you need to do it. So yes, all authority should be questioned. Strongly agree. An eye for an eye. Strongly agree. Should not be expected. Strongly agree. Schools strongly disagree because education, there's a lot of kids around the world who don't have an education, and They deserve it. All people have their rights, but it's better that different strongly disagree. Sometimes good parents have to smack their children. I don't believe in corporal punishment. It's natural to keep some secrets from their parents. Disagree. Because I think, don't get me wrong, I think that kids and parents, I encourage them to be open with each other because that's the best kind of relationship to have. So yeah, using marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offence. Disagree. Because I actually support marijuana being legal for medical purposes, but recreational purposes, not so much. That's dangerous. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generations to find jobs. Strongly agree. People with strongly agree, exactly. Because it's not like having kids is something that everyone thinks of as their absolute right when it's not your absolute right. I think that there should be a lot more vetting on who's allowed to have kids and things like that. So yeah, I strongly agree with that. Most important thing for children is to learn to accept discipline. No, I disagree. I think there's a few more things that are more important than that, to be honest. But yeah, there are no savage or civilized people, only different cultures. Strongly disagree. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society support. Should not expect society support. I disagree. Because, don't get me wrong, I do agree with that in general, but I think there's a lot more to it than that. Now, this question here. When you travel, it's better not to think about it, but keep more busy. Disagree. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. However, independent should receive public funding. Strongly agree. Like the BBC, for example. BBC is a good example of that. What a disaster. So liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counter-terrorism. Strongly agree, man. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. Strongly disagree. So, the electronic age makes official surveillance easy. Only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree. Privacy is important. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Strongly agree. In fact, I don't think even the most serious. I think I'm a full supporter of the death penalty, you guys. I support it in many circumstances. In a civilized society, one must always have above to be obeyed, people to be commanded. Strongly disagree. Yeah, I'm taking screenshots for Instagram, so please don't. I know you think that's weird, but please don't mind me doing that. An abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Wow. Now, I couldn't more strongly disagree with that. The definition of art is that there are no rules. No rules when it comes to art. Art is art. It's different for each person. What you consider art, I might not consider art. But it's still art, you know. Whether it's graffiti art or whatever. Punishment should be more important. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. I'm taking screenshots for Instagram. Just So I'd say that again. And more important, disagree, strongly disagree, exploiting the plant genetic. Oh, I couldn't more strongly agree with that. Couldn't more strongly agree with that. Disagree. Astrology accurately explains. Oh my goodness. I couldn't more strongly disagree with this. You cannot be moral without being religious. Charity is better. Security. That's an interesting question, isn't it? I'm gonna say disagree. Some people are naturally unlucky. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I strongly agree. I was just thinking there. It's important that the school instills religious. Strongly disagree. The reason I strongly disagree is because I think the government and the school should have no involvement in what my kid learns in terms of religion. That's my job. My job, not theirs. Last page. Okay, righto. Marriage is usually immoral. Strongly agree. No, because it is usually, again, the word usually is important. Yes, it's usually immoral. The reason why it's usually immoral is because what happens when you have two parents that are not married and have children is that they tend to just split up very shortly and go their separate ways. And it's an irresponsible thing, and it's happening all the time now. I don't like it. So yeah. Stable could not be excluded from the possibility of strongly disagree. Yeah, because I'm very strongly against homosexuality and the homosexual agenda that's taking over the world. So that's a big thing for me. Should be strongly disagree, strongly agree. Well, actually, I'm actually going to say, that's a really tough one, because I'm going to say slightly disagree with that. No one can naturally feel homosexual. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. These days, the openness about sex. Strongly agree. I couldn't more strongly agree with that. Yeah. That's my position there. That is my position. I'm 100% sure on that. So let's see where I stand. Righto, the results. It's time. So this is the compass and the results. Look at this. Yeah, this is where I stand apparently. It says I'm a leftist, which, as you know from my last few questions, is not possible for me to be a leftist with that. So I think this is wrong, you guys. That's not accurate at all. That's wrong. Look at this. Gandhi shouldn't be in that category. He should be in the right side, because he was not a leftist. A lot of his views were against what the left believe. Same with me. So I think this is inaccurate overall in terms of I don't think this website is accurate, but I'm glad we still did the test. So yeah, thank you for watching.